everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back, to POT, Perlis Online Tuition 2025. So for today, with me, teacher NAZZATULSHIMA binti ZOLKIFLI, we are going to focus on speaking paper. So for today, the topic from nervous to natural. So I'm sure all of you, all over Malaysia, you are so nervous and you are quite afraid of taking this kind of paper, speaking test. So that is why, we are going to conquer the SPM speaking test. I'm going to give you some of the tips how you are going to be a confident speaker and you are going to get more marks for your speaking test. Let's get started. So for speaking test, you need to know there are 3 parts. So the first one, part 1, part 2 and part 3. For part 1, this is the easiest part, where you have the interlocutor will ask you some of the questions briefly about your personal details and biodata. So the interlocutor may ask you some question about your name, where do you live, your hobby, for examples. So this is a kind of warm-up session for you. Try to cater your nervousness. So this is the earliest stage where try to be calm and relaxed. So next, interview 3 to 5 minutes. Where the interlocutor will ask you question 3 to 4 minutes to both candidates, candidate A and candidate B. So next. For part 2. So it is an individual long-term task. 1 to 2 minutes. With a listening candidate response question. So actually for this part 2, you are going to have 1 task. Candidate A, 1 task. Candidate B, another 1 task. For example, the first one, candidate A, you are given a topic. And you are supposed to talk about the topic for 1 minute. So after that 1 minute, you have present all your ideas regarding the topic given. Another candidate, candidate B, will be asked another question but on another topic. So it is different from candidate A. After candidate B being asked the question and answered the question, so candidate A will be asked 1 short question. So you are supposed to give a response, within 16 to 20 seconds only. So this is for part 2. So you have to remember these 2 minutes, is actually 1 minute for candidate A. So another 1 minute for candidate B. So that is why 2 minutes. 1 topic, 1 minute. For each candidate A and B. So this is basically for part 2. Don't worry. After this, we are going to show you a sample of question. So let's move on. What to focus on? So how you are going to sustain, a long-term question. So this is how you are going to do. You have to make sure, to maintain coherence and clarity of message. So when you are giving your ideas, when you are delivering your opinions, for example, make sure it is clear. And then let's say you have 2 or 3 ideas, so try to organize, try to connect them from one to another. Next you have accuracy and appropriate of linguistic resources. Okay, this is how you are going the grammar, the tenses, okay, about the sentence structure. Okay, so we are going to cover after this in depth. Okay, don't worry. Okay, next. Okay, for part 3, this is the most difficult part. Okay, discussion task, mind map. So this is the task for candidate A and candidate B. Okay, so both of candidate A and B, you are supposed to discuss. Okay, so you were given a mind map, okay, in a booklet. Okay, so candidates are asked to speak on a topic for about 2 minutes. Okay, with a central focus question. Okay, so that is the topic in the middle. Okay, in the mind map. That surrounding ideas to help them. Okay, so the surrounding ideas, okay, the points are given in the booklet is 6 points. Okay, they are given a decision question to focus and discuss for 1 minute. So meaning to say, after your discussion, okay, for 2 minutes, okay, you are supposed to conclude your discussion, okay, by giving one conclusion, okay, from both of you, candidate A and candidate B. So next, candidates are given 2 minutes to answer the final joint question. Final joint question. So actually, so this is about HOTS question, higher order thinking skills question, where you are supposed to answer this question within 2 minutes. Okay, so both of you have to do the turn taking, okay, and answer the question by elaborating, explaining, and give examples. Okay, so if you are able to answer this final joint question successfully, so you will get more marks, okay, because the question is difficult. Okay, so next, move on to the next slide. What to focus? Okay, so for part 3, okay, you are going to focus on turn taking and responding. How you are supposed to do the turn taking, okay? They are candidate A and candidate B, right? Okay, so do not conquer the discussion. Okay, so do not present it in a different minute. Okay, for example, candidate A 1 minute, candidate B 1 minute. That is not discussion because it is no turn taking. Okay, so turn taking meaning to say you have to pass to your friend. So after you initiate the discussion, you are doing the elaboration, okay, for the first point, and you have to pass to your friend, okay, which is candidate B, and ask his or her opinion, okay, whether he or she agree with your ideas or with your point. So that is turn taking. Okay, pass the baton to your friend. Okay, so next, negotiating. Okay, so negotiating meaning to say whether you are agree with your friends or not. So whether you are agree, just state, oh yes, I agree with you. I strongly agree with you. Okay, so if you don't agree, so just state in the discussion. Okay, maybe you can say, I'm partially agree with your idea. But, okay, so you just state your new idea or new points to it. Okay, next, developing topics. Okay, so based on the topic, what you are supposed to do, you give examples. Okay, so if you give examples, it will be clearer. Okay, so next. So this is the seating arrangement for speaking test examination. Okay, as you can see here, we have, so this is the table. Okay, so this is the table. Okay, so this is the table. Okay, so this is the table. So this is the table as well. Okay, so interlocutor, R is here, bring it here. interlocutor. So we have interlocutor and assessor. Okay, so this is table. Okay, so candidate A and B. Okay, you are supposed to sit. Okay, and you have to face the interlocutor because interlocutor will ask you questions. Okay, based on the booklet given. Okay, whereas this is the assessor. Okay, he or she will just listen to you. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, I will give and I will tell you about how the mark assessment, okay, will be given. Okay, so this is the seating arrangement. Okay, next. Okay, separation of assessment focus. Okay, as you can see, we have interlocutor, we have the assessor. Okay, so for interlocutor, okay, the one who are sitting in front of you, who are asking you all the question, who are giving you all the instruction, okay, he or she will do overall spoken performance, okay, where you are going to give mark based on overall spoken performance, okay, meaning to say, he or she will take a look, okay, from part 1 up to part 3, okay, for the whole parts, okay, then he or she will give you the marks, okay, so how many marks? Is actually 6 marks here, 6 marks, okay, for overall spoken performance. Okay, next, how about assessor? So, assessor, there are 3 parts, okay. So, this is the first one, grammar. Second, we have vocabulary. The third one, we have communicative competence. Okay, so this is very important for you, okay, all the candidates, okay, for SPM 2025, make sure, okay, when you receive the task, okay, from the booklet, you need to think, okay, what kind of tenses that you are going to use. Okay, for example, if the question asks you about your hobby, okay, so it is about an activity that you do every day or every week, for example, every activity that you really love to do, okay, regularly. So, is it past tense or is it present tense? So, you are supposed to use present tense. Okay, how about if you are telling the interlocutor and assessor about your experience? You have done this one, okay? So, meaning to say you have to use past tense because it already happened. Okay, so how about vocabulary? Okay, so vocabulary, try to enrich your vocabulary, try to memorize a few of vocabs that you can use for most of the topics. Okay, so if you are able to use good vocab, okay, or big words, okay, for your spoken performance, for your speaking test, so you are going to get better marks in your speaking test. Okay, how about communicative competence? Okay, so this is very important. For example, for part 3, okay, you are supposed to discuss with your partner about one topic. Okay, so you know how to do the turn taking. Okay, you know how to negotiate with your partner. You know how to ask your partner's idea or preference, for example. Okay, so this is very important. Each of these, okay, so 6 marks for grammar, 6 marks for vocabulary, and another 6 marks for communicative competence. So altogether here we have 18 marks. So 18 plus 6, 24 marks. Okay, so this is for the assessment. Okay, so next. Okay, how to excel in speaking test. Okay, so first, okay, you have to know this. GREAT, great. Okay, so you have to implement this, okay, if you want to score better marks for speaking test. Okay, the first G is great. So you have to do some greetings to the interlocutor and assessor as well as your partner. Okay, the next one is R. Respond. Okay, respond to question and give appropriate feedback. During the discussion, make an eye contact with your partner. So meaning to say, when you do discussion with your partner, try to make an eye contact. And then you have to respond to your partner. Okay, for example, if your partner is asking you about your opinion, whether you are agree or not. So you have to give feedback. Okay, so next we have E. Expand ideas. Try to elaborate your ideas. You can use your past experiences related to the topic in elaborating your ideas. Okay, for example, you have one topic. Okay, how you are going to expand? You have to elaborate. You can give some facts, or you can give some examples, or you can relate to your past experience or your friend's experience. Okay, next we have A, meaning to say alert. Okay, so you must understand the topic and listen to the instruction carefully. Even though it is not your turn, but you should always listen to your partner's answer because it will be useful later. Okay, so for alert, when you are not doing the speaking, okay, you need to listen to your friend. Why? Because, for example, in part 2, you will be asked one question briefly about your partner's topic. So if you don't listen carefully to your partners, maybe you are going to repeat the same points given by your friend, okay, or by your partner. Okay, so it is very important. Or if you listen to your partner, okay, you will get some ideas, okay, how you are going to answer the question. Maybe you can rephrase some of the words given by your friends, okay, use synonym, and then you can use it in your explanation or your short answers. Okay? Okay, next. T for turn taking. Marks are given individually. Okay? But never try to conquer the discussion. So that is why turn taking is very important. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, so for part 1 interview phase 1. So you have to remember, we have phase 1 and we have phase 2 for part 1 interview. So like I said earlier, it's very easy. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Candidate A, what is your name? Okay, so you can say, my name is Amira binti Ahmad. You can call me Mira. Okay, next, you can say, my name is Amira binti Ahmad. All of my friends used to call me Mira. Okay, next one. Hi, I'm Admira binti Ahmad. My nickname is Mira. Okay, so try to give more than one sentence, okay, for your answer. Why? Because you need to impress the assessor and impress the interlocutor. Because first impression is very important. Okay, for part 1 interview, all the topics is related to yourself. It's related to your personal biodata or details. So that is why you can practice them earlier. Okay, and try to be more confident. Okay, next one. Where do you live? I live in Taman Bersatu ARAU, Perlis. Okay, so this is very short. Okay, how you are going to impress the assessor and interlocutor? Okay, you can use another way around, okay, to answer this question. Okay, I live in Taman Bersatu ARAU, Perlis. It is a nice neighborhood with beautiful scenery. Okay, you can see, so this is the answer. Okay, the location. And then you can give some of ideas, okay, about the neighborhood. So it is a nice neighborhood. And how about the scenery? So, beautiful scenery. Okay, people here are friendly and I love this peaceful environment. Okay, so this is better. Okay, so it shows that you really have a good language. Okay, because you are able to answer more than one sentence. Okay, for this part. Okay, next one. What do you do after coming back from school? I will have my lunch and complete my homework. Okay, so you complete your lunch here and complete your homework. Okay, so this is what you will do after coming back from school. Okay, this is quite short answer. Okay, next. How do you come to school? Okay, so normally for part 1 interview, it's very easy for you to give the answer. It is quite simple, okay, as compared to part 2. For phase 2, okay, the interlocutor and the assessor will start give you marks. Okay, so for example, how do you come to school? Okay, I come to school by bus, or I walk to school with my friends every morning, or I come to school by car every day. My father drives me. We usually leave early to avoid traffic, and I love to chat with him along the ride. Okay, as you can see here, the third example, right? So it's quite long, okay, and it gives a proper explanation. So that is why when the when the assessor and the interlocutor, they are going to start with phase 2, okay? Part 1, phase 2. They will start give you marks, award you some marks. So that is why you need to give more than one sentence, okay, when you are answering the question. Okay? Next. What do you usually do after waking up? Okay, so usually after I wake up, I take a refreshing bath to start the day. Then I get dressed in my school uniform and have a healthy breakfast. Once I'm ready, I grab my bag and make sure I have all the books and supplies. Okay, what is the difference between this sample of answers with the previous one? Try to think. As you can see here, the students are using some of the linkers, right? Okay, so usually after I wake up, then I get dressed in my school uniform, okay, and then using some conjunction as well, okay, and so how you are going to connect your ideas? Try to use linkers, okay, conjunction, okay, as known as cohesive devices. So it is good for you and you are able to score better marks. Okay, next. Okay, what do you like to do during leisure time? Why? Okay, so this is about your leisure time. Why? So when the question asks you why, you have to give the reason. Okay, during my leisure time, I enjoy reading books. Okay, so this is the activity because it allows me to dive into different worlds. Okay, so allows me to dive into different worlds and learn new things. So this is the reason why he or she like readings. Okay, I also like to spend time outdoors, either going for a walk or playing sports with my friends. For me, it's a great way to stay active and enjoy the fresh air. So the second activity is spend time outdoors. What is the reason? Okay, for me, it's a great way to stay active and enjoy the fresh air. So these are the reasons. Okay, so you have to complete the mission here. Okay, what the activity and give the reason as well. Okay, next one. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now, okay, so you have understand for part 2. Okay, we are going to focus on, we are going to focus on part 2. Okay, the last part is part 1 phase 2. Okay, some technical problem just now. Okay, don't worry. Okay, now for part 2, okay, it is known as individual long-term task. Okay, so for this, you have to speak for 1 minute, okay, based on a given topic. So how the interlocutor are going to ask you or give you some instruction? Okay, let me demonstrate it. Okay, so in this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you a topic, and I would like you to talk about it on your own for about 1 minute. You also need to answer a question briefly about your partner's topic. Candidate A, here's your task. I would like you to talk about your ambition in the future. First, you have some time to think about what you are going to say. Alright, you may start now. So that is basically, okay, what is going to be told by the interlocutor. Okay, so actually what you are supposed to do, interlocutor will read the instruction, okay, telling you what you are supposed to do, and give you the booklet. Okay, in the booklet, okay, there is your task. Okay, so your task is like this. Okay, so as you can see, this is the candidate booklet. What part? Part 2. So here, 2A means to say part 2 candidate A. Okay, so what is the topic? A dream job. So this is the topic. Okay, so in your booklet, you can see there are 4 content prompts given. Okay, here. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, if you think, okay, the time is not enough for you to get all the information, okay, don't worry. I know when the interlocutor give you the papers, okay, the booklet, you only have about 20 seconds, okay, to prepare yourself. Okay, you do not have any pens, any paper. Okay, so you have to think, okay, and plan your answer in your mind at that time. Okay, so you need to answer all these 4 questions. Do you think you will have enough time? Okay, so actually try to be calm. Okay, don't be nervous. Okay, you know the topic is about dream job. Okay, so you need to plan. Is it past tense or present tense? Is it past tense or present tense? Okay, of course, it's about your dream job, something in the future. So it's going to be either future tense or present tense. Okay, so you know already. Then try to give the ideas, okay, according to the content prompt. If you do not want to use this content prompt for your speaking, it's okay as long as do not get out of the topic. Okay, the topic is about a dream job. Okay, so it must be related to the topics. But for me, if you have these clues already, okay, the content prompt, why not try to use this? Okay, and then how you are going to be good? Okay, so you can use all the past year's question. Okay, try to get all the answers here. Okay, do some practice. Then you are going to be okay. You are going to be better, and you are going to get more marks for your speaking test. Trust me, okay, because the topic is slightly the same, okay. It is not too difficult, okay. If you do more topics, then you are able to answer it successfully, okay. So next one. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, let us read together. Firstly, my dream job is to be a stock analyst. In my opinion, I think this job is very interesting and challenging. For your information, I have had a big interest in financial field. Then I will study hard in secondary school so I can pass the exam with flying colours. After that, I will take a course in finance. I strongly agree that teenagers should be selective in choosing the jobs in the future because they have the right to choose the job they want to do and have passion in it. Okay, so this is very good answer. As you can see, how the students are trying to organize the ideas to connect the ideas from one to another. So this is a very good example. So if you are able to do this in 1 minute, okay, so you are going to get better marks. Okay? Okay, next one. So this is the second example. Okay? So this is for candidate B. As you can see, the first topic is different from the second topic, right? So that is why I'm saying candidate A and candidate B are going to get different topic. So this is the topic about favorite team sport. Okay? So we have 4 content prompts as well. 3 and 4. Okay? So don't worry if you are not able to finish all these 4 content prompts. Okay? So believe in yourself. Okay? Some of you like to elaborate more. Okay? For the second point or third points. And then your time is end. Don't worry. Okay? Because we are not going to assess you on the content. Okay, we are going to assess you on your grammar, language, vocab, right? Okay, so don't worry, okay? Don't be sad if you are not able to finish all these 4 content prompts, okay? Okay, so this is an example. Okay, so as you can see, okay, the second sample, okay, it is lack of organization. Okay, where you are supposed to give some linkers, okay? And maybe you can use some meaningful expression when you want to give your opinion. Okay, the team sport I like is badminton. How you are going to start? So you can use firstly, first things first. Okay, to begin with. Okay, first and foremost. Okay, so you can add it here. Contoh, okay, firstly, okay, and then when you want to give your opinion, okay, maybe you can use, okay, in my point of view, okay, or I think, okay, it is my favorite team sport because, okay, so it will be better if you add some linkers to organize your ideas. Okay, next. Okay, so this is the last part, okay. So remember our topic from nervous to natural. So I'm sure you already know part 1, part 2 and part 3. Okay, so each part, okay, from the easiest part to the most difficult part, which is part 3. But today, okay, we are covering part 1 and part 2. Okay, insyaAllah, for the next session, we are going to cover for part 3. Because part 3 is the most difficult part. Okay, it is a discussion task with hot questions. So it's difficult for you to score. Okay, but if you know the technique, you are going to be okay. Okay, for part 1 and part 2, so first prepare your ideas. Okay, use time to plan your ideas. If you are asked to stop during the explanation, stay calm. It means you have reached the time limit. Okay, so don't be sad. Okay, for example, you are delivering your ideas and then, okay, thank you. So don't worry, okay? So the time is already had come to the limit. Okay, so that is why you need to stop. Okay, next, don't panic if you can't answer the question. Okay, do you still remember about the topic that you get? Okay, so try to give any information, any similar experiences, okay, related to the topic. Okay, because we are not going to assess you from the content. Okay, we are assessing you from grammar, vocab, communicative competence. Okay, so that is why you need to try to answer the question. Try to find the information related to the topic. Next, talk about familiar things. Mention places or names you know and specify what they are. Okay, so for example, you are supposed to talk about sports day. Okay, maybe you can mention some of the events, okay, that to be involved in that sports day carnival at your school, for example. Maybe you can mention some of the names who are in charge, okay, for certain event. Okay, so maybe if the question are asking you about your idol, so maybe you can give the names of your idols and a few characteristics of that particular person. Okay, so next, use linkers and introductory words or phrases. Okay, remember, you have to connect your ideas and organize your ideas by using cohesive devices. Okay, one of it is linkers. Okay, next, think creatively. If you run out of ideas, just make up one. Okay, I'm sure some of you, you are very genuine. Okay, you want to talk about all about yourself. Okay, if you do not have any experience regarding certain event, for example, but you don't have any idea, try to make up one. So it does not to be true, but as long as it is logic and relevant to the topic, why not? Okay, so for example, if the question asks you about going for a concert, okay, you are attending a concert, okay, attended a concert, okay, your experience, but in reality, you don't have that kind of experience. So try to make up one. Try to create that situation, okay? So as long as it is logical and related to the topic. Okay, so we have covered all areas in speaking test, part 1 and part 2. Okay, so for me, okay, try to practice, okay, try to get some of the past year questions, okay, and do some revision. Try to speak with your partner, okay, try to practice every day because practice makes perfect, okay. So that is why try to enrich your vocab, okay. Try to be better in your grammar, okay. So you are able to be confident speaker, okay, and able to take this SPM speaking test, okay, and get the better and the best result ever. Okay, so for me, Teacher NAZZATULSHIMA binti ZOLKIFLI, thank you so much to all of you. Okay, so don't forget to log on to PAUTAN Tontonan POT 2025. Okay, there are lots of videos regarding this, some of the information for your, from the 10 subjects, okay, that we are going to have. So bear with us, okay. So I think that's all for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.